As you may know, a couple of years ago I published a booklet, Every Woman's Guide to Vital Breast Health. And a lot of people who have bought the book or had it given to them have come back to me and asked me questions about some of the procedures. So although these procedures are really simple, by the same token they're different from things that we would normally do. Also, it's very difficult to imagine that they would have the beneficial effect that they do. If people persevere with what's outlined in the book, both dietary and also diaphragmatic breathing, which is particularly important, particularly for breast health. Also, there are quite a few things that are good to avoid. One is underwired bras. It really is a bad idea, apart from anything else, apart from stopping the blood flow and the flow of lymph, which is really vital to breast health. Also, I'm sort of aware that metal objects pick up all sorts of pick up microwaves and all sorts of other things, particularly from mobile phones. They act as aerials, and that can't be a good idea. Another thing which is a bit of an outrage to the body is to use antiperspirants right under the armpit in the axilla, and this is where a lot of the lymphatic drainage takes place, and it's very important that lymphatic drainage is unimpeded and healthy. Obviously, the sweat glands that are there in the armpits are there for a very important reason, and it's all to do with clearing toxins from the body. Now, I know it's very nice to spray something in that makes you smell great all day and stops you perspiring, but actually that's very bad news. Also, the other thing about building up an alkaline situation in the body is really very helpful, and if you do that as outlined in the book, and I've also done a short video on diaphragmatic breathing, which is really worth having a look at, because some people just can't get their head around it, and I completely understand that. It's not the easiest thing in the world, though it should be, but it's brilliant treatment. It's one of the best things you can do for the body, and not only does it increase the oxygen level, but it also decreases the amount of acid in the bloodstream. It makes it more alkaline, because when you're breathing out carbon dioxide at the same time, you are lowering carbonic acid in the bloodstream, which is highly beneficial, because the more alkaline the body, the more oxygen is retained in the bloodstream and delivered to the cells. And this is exactly what we need for breast health, particularly when people have got issues of a cancerous situation, a malignancy. Then the more oxygen, the less likely these things are to thrive. So an alkaline body, or a more alkaline body, and deep breathing, loading the body up with oxygen, followed by hydrotherapy. That's hot and cold compresses, and I'm going to show you this in a short while, exactly how you should do it. Another thing which is really useful, it sounds simple but it's very useful, is hot mustard foot baths. Now, hot mustard foot baths, you just use Coleman's mustard powder in hot water, and you have enough hot water to come up over the ankles, not hot enough to burn or scald obviously, but just hot. And you keep your feet in there for 10, maybe 15 minutes, which is quite pleasant, and when you've finished you just simply dry your feet. Now, that has the effect of drawing down things that are higher up, issues that are higher up in the body, whether they're in the head, the brain, whether it's migraines, whether it's asthma, or whether it's things going on in breast tissue, and it brings these toxins down, and they tend to go out through the fast-acting organs, which are the kidneys. And these are very good things to do. Now, everything's outlined in the book, which is available on Amazon either as a Kindle or as a paperback thing. And I would urge you to read it if you can at some stage, and also to watch the videos, the self-help videos on things like hot mustard foot baths, how to do hot and cold compresses, and the diaphragmatic breathing technique, of which there's already a video there, so you can just have a look at that. Also, if you're a migraine sufferer, you might find it useful to have a look at the procedure that I developed with sort of migraines in mind. And what it does is it helps a migraine when someone's having an acute attack. If you look at the video and you see exactly what's involved, you can do that for someone when they're having an acute situation with a migraine. Often it actually removes the migraine completely while going through this procedure. It usually has a very beneficial effect on a migraine sufferer while they're actually having an acute attack. But also, if you do this every time, if you're able to, every time the person has a migraine, you may well find, as a lot of my patients have found, they no longer suffer from migraines because the whole system is broken down. The brain pattern that causes the migraines or allows the migraines to happen, to be triggered, particularly if they're triggered by things like stress or it's related to hormones. These things are often addressed by doing this simple procedure. Now it takes a bit of time. You've probably got to watch the video 2 or 3 times, download it, whatever, and get it right. But it's really worth doing because it's much better than relying on any type of painkiller, immigrant, whatever it is. As good as that is, it gets you through the problem. But if you can do something like this and change the body pattern so that migraines no longer happen, that's the best we can get. Well, I hope you enjoy my videos, and goodbye.